weather alert.
Good morning and thank you for joining us here for 12 News Saturday morning. We're getting you right to the weather this morning because we want you to pay extra attention. Storm Team 12 has issued a weather alert day for severe storms and potential tornadoes. This is the latest threat outlook, and you can see that enhanced risk covers much of the state, but the area of concern is especially here in southeast Kansas. There's a lot to break down here, so let's get right over to meteorologist Dean Jones.
Shawn, everybody, yes, the Storm Prediction Center has just recently updated. It's coming up here. We'll have more on Future Track.
And as Dean mentioned, multiple tornadoes across Nebraska, and we're getting our first look at some of that damage from those tornadoes that hit the area Friday. So far, we know that there's been hundreds of homes and businesses damaged due to those multiple tornadoes. One of the most destructive storms tore through a rural area north of Omaha. Here's a look at some of the reaction from Friday's storm.
I don't know what else to say. I just hope everyone's okay.
Officials in Nebraska say there are 2 people injured and both of them were taken to the hospital, but they also say that there's the potential for more people trapped in their homes. Crews searched throughout the night and will continue that this morning. And take a look at this video out of Fredonia in southeast Kansas. This video shared with us by Nancy. Reports of damage are still coming in, but some building and tree damage were seen. A couple tornadoes and hail was reported in those storms moving through southeast Kansas yesterday. McConnell Air Force Base isn't taking any chances with today's severe weather. The Air Force Base has moved most of its aircraft off base as a precautionary measure. The remaining aircraft will be stored in hangars. While off station, McConnell air crews will coordinate training activities with other military units. It is prom season, but with severe weather in the forecast, some are being forced to change their plans. Today, Derby High School was supposed to hold its first prom outside of the school's gym since the pandemic, but the threat of severe weather is bringing the event back to campus. The high school's principal says after talking with the National Weather Service, they made the decision to relocate the prom from Wave in downtown Wichita back to the gym. She says they were exploring options for possible storm shelters, including the Ruffin building, but ultimately decided the high school would be the safest place. Since the decision was made, school staff have been working hard to get the gym set up and decorated, but some students are disappointed with the decision, but the principal says it's all in the name of safety.
Yeah, a lot of frustration.
If severe weather does strike today, Derby High School has a plan. Someone will be monitoring the weather throughout the night, and if students are ever in danger, they'll be moved to the school's FEMA storm shelters. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly has also issued a verbal state of disaster emergency in response to severe storms we are expecting and could see today. Kelly's declaration activates the Kansas Response Plan and gives the state the ability to quickly send assistance to communities in need. Kelly says she encourages all Kansans to have an emergency kit and a family plan in preparation for a tornado. The Kansas Division of Emergency Management will staff the state's Emergency Operations Center. That started on Friday and will last through Sunday and will provide assistance as needed. The Andover community is marking 33 years since a deadly tornado ripped through their community. On April 26, 1991, an F5 tornado hit Andover, killing 17 people. The tornado first touched down near Clearwater and crossed into Sedgwick County before hitting the McConnell Air Force Base, then Andover. It was part of a large severe weather outbreak across the Great Plains, with 21 tornadoes touching down in Kansas on that day. And as we get ready for severe weather, make sure you have our Storm Team 12 weather app downloaded. You'll get weather alerts and be able to track live radar from where you are. Now, it is also free to download. Just search KWCH in the App Store on your smart device and stay tuned to 12 News throughout the day and have multiple ways of getting alerts and warnings.
Coming up after the break, I'll tell you why drug policy experts say that the black market right now is booming with illegal grow operations for marijuana. I'm Ashanti Ford reporting from Capitol Hill.
And we're keeping the weather threat in front of you today with the potential for severe storms and tornadoes on this weather alert day. Dean will have the details when we get back.
From KW.
Coming up.
2 people hospitalized in critical condition following a shooting late Sunday in North Wichita. We have the latest.
Plus tragedy.
But first, we have a look at your Storm Team 12 forecast.
Yeah, we are looking almost for a repeat performance of Sunday, something I'm not looking forward to, Jake.
Tonight's your chance to weigh in on a proposal that could raise your gas bill. The Kansas Corporation Commission hosting a public hearing on Kansas Gas Service's proposed increase. KGS is asking for a raise that could increase your monthly average bill about $6.71. The hearing is tonight from 6 to 8 at Wichita State's Hughes Metroplex. A decision on that rate hike is expected later this year. Kansas lawmakers and Governor Laura Kelly will soon begin a special session working on tax cuts for Kansans. This comes after the governor vetoed 3 proposals by lawmakers in the last legislative session. Lawmakers announced last week that they had reached a compromise with the governor on a new bill. While the tax package is the priority, lawmakers are also expected to discuss the state's push to bring the Kansas City Chiefs and Royals across the state line into Kansas. Butler County Sheriff's deputies say that a 3-year-old who went missing Saturday evening drowned in a waterway near a family member's home. Authorities tell us the child was playing outside while an adult was doing yard work, but the boy wandered off and disappeared. The sheriff's office says the boy accidentally drowned. An autopsy will be performed to determine the cause of death.
An explosion in western Kansas leaves 1 person hurt and a home destroyed. It happened Saturday evening in Garden City.
12 News reporter Gabriela Hernandez has the details from the scene.
Take a look, Gabriela Hernandez, 12 News.
The Kansas State Fire Marshal's office has been called in to help with the investigation that is ongoing. The cause of the explosion has not been determined. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here for 12 News Saturday morning. It is a wet start for parts of Kansas this morning, but also it's going to be bringing some cooler conditions across the state. I know that's very much welcomed by a lot of people.
I mean, we were 105 this past Monday. We're going to be 83 today. What month is it again? It's the middle of July.
A nice break for sure, though.
Yeah, it feels like fall out.
Thanks, Caitlin. An outage at the major tech company CrowdStrike, halting operations at companies around the world, impacting everything from airlines to hospitals. As to how it happened, here's what we know so far. First, the company says this was not a cyber attack, rather a glitch that happened during the company's attempt to push out a recent Microsoft update. With that glitch impacting people around the globe, Sedgwick County and the state of Kansas also dealing with computer outages. But ARC Technologies Group says systems should be back up relatively quick.
Overall outage, extraordinarily small segments.
The good news is the average person isn't having computer issues, and as of 3 o'clock Friday, Sedgwick County systems were 95% restored. Here's a closer look at what's been impacted in Kansas due to that global cyber outages. Airports, we're seeing some delays nationwide, including in Wichita, where the ICT airport saw at least 2 cancellations. Flights are also expected to be much smoother today. Additionally, the Kansas Department of Revenue systems were still down, leaving many tag offices closed. Kansas Supreme Court forced to temporarily suspend its requirements that all electronically filed documents be processed within 4 business hours. As we mentioned, airlines saw some of the biggest impacts from that outage. Take a look at this video showing a time lapse of air traffic across the U.S. from 1 a.m. to 9 Friday morning. You can see how busy it was just before that outage, and then it clears out. Airports are slowly getting back to normal with more than 200 flights canceled on Friday. We're also learning that the network outage has hurt the Kansas Department of Labor. Friday usually marks the department's submission of updated unemployment numbers in Kansas, but the agency says that the global issue has left it unable to deliver June's labor report. The department now plans to submit that report at a later date. And while some hospitals across the country had to cancel services on Friday, the American Red Cross says it hasn't been affected by that global IT outage that had brought businesses to a halt. The Red Cross has reassured patients and donors they don't use the software from CrowdStrike, the company at the center of the outage. The organization adds its partner One Blood is not having issues and is fully operational for blood collections. Other blood donation centers are being impacted, though, by the outage. For example, Blood Assurance says a planned shipment was postponed due to flight delays. The New York Blood Center also having problems, forced to set up an emergency driving operation to distribute collected blood. A $100,000 New York romance scammer caught, convicted, and sentenced Friday. It's a rarity for these type of criminals to be caught, let alone convicted. 12 News reporter Kale Chapman talked with the district attorney about the difficulties when it comes to these cases and what you need to know so you don't fall for it.
It's news.
DA Bennett says if you have experienced this scam, you need to report it to the DA's office. Any information can help you get your money back or prevent other scams in the future. A Kansas man accused of scheming to steal from Montana and Wyoming ranchers now admits to a fraud charge. Jory Parks of Logan, Kansas, is accused of trying to steal from those ranchers as they tried to find hay to feed their livestock during a drought. Parks, now pleading guilty to wire fraud, and faces a maximum prison sentence of up to 20 years and up to a $250,000 fine. The Kansas City Royals are shaking up a timeless tradition. How they are doing it, that's still to come. But first, former President Donald Trump holding his first campaign rally since last weekend's assassination attempt, while President Biden continues to insist that he won't be dropping out of the race. The latest on the 2024 presidential campaign in just a few minutes. But first, we have another look of your Storm Team 12 forecast as we are seeing those rain showers moving through the central part of the state into the eastern Kansas. Halen will have the track when we get back.
From